Happy Friday, recording on a Wednesday, probably going to push it on a Thursday, and welcome to episode 129. Is that right, Maddie?
Yes,
Of
that's
the recap.
correct.
I should check these numbers before we actually go live. Yes, it is 129. How you doing today?
Well, Rick, I'm doing great. Hello, community as well. Except the heat wave that is hitting Europe, I am doing pretty well. We have here 36 degrees as we speak. I think it's not that hot in there, is it?
No, Ohio, we might crack 30. We're at 29. The mornings are nice at 18, so it's nice and cool. And I was out last week, and it was a little bit warmer where I was, so it would have been in the 30s for sure on vacation. But 2 weeks ago, you were complaining about 33, and now 36. Oh my goodness.
36. And
Crazy.
this is not the worst. I was talking yesterday to someone in Rome. They had over 40. And now my brother is in Greece, and they're like expected 50 degrees. Can you believe that?
No. Well, I have been, and I looked this up and did the conversion. I went to it's called Death Valley in the United States. It's a desert anomaly among the whole North American continent. For one, it's very low below sea level, much like the Dead Sea in Israel. You know, it's underneath sea level. And it was 52.6 that day. And
I think this year is going to get to 50, over 56, I think.
And that I had never felt anything like that. And you know, like you ever work in a kitchen, just in a home, and you open the oven and pull something out? It felt like that, the whole everything. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, this is insane.
Ooh,
can you survive that weather? How can you survive it?
Well, you run out to take the photo of the thermometer, and then you run back in the car with the aircon, is what we did in Death Valley. But no, it's a hot summer. Luckily, it's cooling down here in central Ohio, and we had some rain, which, you know, then that means there's clouds, and so that helps a bunch. And yeah, so stay cool. Well, you're super cool already because you're jamming on the Veeam community, but stay cool in the other sense as well.
I'll keep my AC on. Make sure to do that.
Well, let's take a look at what's hopping in the community. Stuff is hopping. And first up is Marco. Might be the first time I've called Marco's name on the recap. Welcome, Marco. Oh, wait, you got all kinds of badges. Maybe you've got discussions, conversations. You've been present and
it's one
been
of the first as well.
Yeah, good.
Wow.
Cool. Anyways, but Marco.
Yeah, I think you are right. It might just be the first time we are mentioning his post in here.
And he's talking about one of the new features that have come out with version 12 for BNR. And then Microsoft 365 have had it for a while. This new modern authentication. And I'll be honest with you, I had to look it up and stumble through it. It's so good that he wrote this up.
Yeah, I agree. Like basically he has a demo in place on how to set up notifications with Microsoft 365 modern authentication for VBR and VBO 365 server. And, you know, I must say that this is kind of my favorite type of post, like the demos, the how-to posts, videos. And I really don't think I'm the only one because these are very helpful. They are really practical, you know, like when it comes to using a new product or you just want to set up a new feature and do an integration or an update, anything basically, it's just so easy to follow. And that's exactly what Marco is doing in here. He shows us how to configure the Veeam console, and then he explains that the biggest difference from accounts with basic authentication it's that in order for Veeam to send email on behalf of a Microsoft 365 account, it is necessary to use an Azure AD application registered on the Azure portal. And I think I was reading that they are changing the name of the Azure AD application. Is that? Yeah.
Intra
Yeah.
ID.
I actually saw a meme that was really funny. Like, you know, like the ones we are using at Veeam 100 Summit with the Legends and Vanguard, something similar. So
Well, it's
So,
funny.
yeah.
Gotta be careful. I could spend my day just communicating in memes. You can have. I made my first meme video, by the way. I put it in our Teams chat. I don't know if you saw that, but I had some fun with that. This is really
that's
good,
always
Marco.
funny.
This
Yeah,
is
definitely really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for anybody watching, I'd love to see this done for Gmail, because Gmail had the same type of thing. Some people still use Gmail for alerts. So if anybody needs an idea, something like this in Gmail.
There you go.
Good stuff. Thank you for sharing, Marco. Luis is back. Luis Rock and Roll Eduardo Serrano with client-side ransomware attacks and a defensive framework for your org. He's sharing a kind of a full write-up he did over there. I think this is a pretty cool share.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, everyone knows every year, like Veeam works with an independent research firm to ask unbiased IT leaders in various countries on their experience when it comes to cyber attacks. And then we put together the famous ransomware trends report, right? This year, the ransomware trends report showed that 85% of organizations suffer at least one ransomware attack. And like we always like at Veeam to ask that question, to say actually that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right?
Yep.
And I really think this is pretty realistic. And you want to have a plan on how to prevent, but also how to recover in case of a disaster. So what Luis is doing in here, he's putting together a defensive framework for an organization. And he says, like, you can deploy defense frameworks and techniques for each stage of this type of attack. And then he goes over the 5 framework core functions that are identity, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Of course, each of these steps are super important. But one thing that I really think is relevant to talk about is that many people say that, oh, I'm going to just do the backup, I'm going to just do the protection thing, but they don't in their environment, but then they don't think about also the detection, the monitor, the analyzing part, which I think it's equally important. That could actually save your bacon, the way you're saying it all the time, your favorite expression. So yeah, I think this is really great. And anyone that works in the IT industry should go and have a read in this. It's really in detail, really good information.
100% agree. And we have had Veeam capabilities align to the NIST cybersecurity framework for a number of years. And one other kind of interesting thing I'll highlight is that he mentioned the ransomware trends report, and he's got a link and you can download that. Friends, I guarantee you there's so much information that you can learn in this. And I'll just pick a stat right here. It takes at least 3 weeks to recover after the triage of an attack. And so this is telling you that it's not your normal disaster. And for us, the thought is you need to be able to mobilize your data, thinking about what type of response you're going to have. And the other, immutability, great. By the way, this one, I love this. I'm not very good at math, Madi, but this adds up to more than 100%, so people are using multiple copies of immutability, that's like where it's at. So a lot to unpack here, Luis Rock and Roll Eduardo Serrano. So thank you for sharing this. And I think that's twice now. I've at least called you on the recap, Luis.
Yeah, twice. I think, this is the second time.
I got to make a nickname, though. It's like Luis Rock and Roll.
Totally, Luis. But you know what? I would like to add one more thing. If people don't have the time to go over all the report, the ransomware trends report, because I know it's long and it contains a lot of information, but there are so many good webinars from Dave and Jason B out there on YouTube, on LinkedIn. So that would be like 30 minutes conversations. Probably that would be super relevant if you don't have the time to go over all the ransomware trends report.
Yeah, absolutely. Good shout. So let me point everybody directly to what she's talking about. Go to the YouTube, go to the playlists, and only after you've watched every playlist item from the Veeam community playlist will you then be a candidate to look at, let's see here, I think it's called Industry Insights playlist. It's in here somewhere. So let me look at all playlists here. Let's see here, all playlists. Yeah, that's it. Playlists, created playlists. There's one from Veeam. There's the podcast that Anthony's doing. Community hub events, community recap, that thing. Somewhere in there is Industry Insight. There it is, Industry Insights live streams. And you can look at that full playlist, as well as we have the one from Thursday Tech Bites that I often do. But yeah, you have the ransomware trends, some excellent insight there. So you can definitely get that on YouTube as well.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, so we want to highlight a very interesting technical discussion that happened in the VUG Italy user group, but I know it's hot there, but I can't. I'm just going to have to translate, Maddie. But what caught your eye here? What caught your eye here from Antonivelli's
Well, first of all, I thought like we never highlight any content in different languages. So it's about time. And I thought this actually is pretty relevant. It's one example from the field. I'm going to have to pronounce the name correctly, Atinivelli. He has a situation with a customer when he's trying to do a migration. From what I understand, he's trying to do a VBR migration from server in Active Directory to server outside Active Directory. And then he gets an error just at the end of the process, failed to launch application, account not found. He opens a ticket with our support. And then in the logs, it showed that he forgot to disable MFA from all users in the old server before backing up the pre-migration configuration. But I would like to listen from you, because you probably have already some experience on that.
Yeah, so first of all, I said the name wrong. I said Antonivelli, but Atinivelli is probably a lot closer. Anyways, regardless, I apologize for messing up the name Atinivelli. But what is being discussed here, Maddie, is really super important. A lot of times people, quote unquote, just throw Veeam in, and you go back to old installations. Veeam's super easy to use, right? There's no doubt about that. But when you think about ransomware, when you think about some of the threats of the data and the individual configurations that are in play, some people might want to make a change. And the new best practice is to have Veeam not on a domain. In fact, the best practice analyzer will give you a warning if it's on a domain. So Atinivelli saw that and he's like, okay, let's take it off of the domain. And what I really like here about his post here, and I'm running out of colors in my Zoom it, is that he said he was good disclosure. He's like, it's painful, but it wasn't too painful, right? And what Atinivelli was doing was taking it out of a domain, which is what I mean by just throwing it into a configuration, running it on a standalone, but those MFA accounts were still there. So you almost have to disable that ahead of time. So this is a very important catch, outstanding selection. So I got to ask, Maddie, do you sit and read all of the content, even when it's in Italian and other languages?
Almost everything, Rick. That's how we learn, right?
You are amazing in that regard, and I'm so grateful that you are on the team doing this stuff, because this is something I would have never caught, and I'm glad you did.
Definitely. And also shout out to Atinivelli, because this is the first time we are calling his name in our recap. And probably the reason why we are doing that is because he's always posting in the VUG Italy. So we should do that more often, just pick up content from different VUGs in different languages and struggle and translate it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, because I think this is really cool, I'm gonna sneak that over, and they're gonna say, what's going on, Ricardo, with all of your share here? But this is truly outstanding here. That's interesting. I pasted it in Italian, but then the browser translated it right back. We can get in a really confused world with built-in browser translations, if you ask me.
It now it shows in Italian.
Yeah, I turned off the translation.
Okay.
So, but no, thank you so much, Ati Novelli. And then also Marco Lovisi jumping in with in Italian, validating it's a good post as well. So thank you so much, Ati Novelli. All right, well, we're gonna transition over to special department news. And speaking of the Veeam user groups, this one was Italy. We are pleased to announce that Mohammed is launching one for Egypt, and that's awesome. I think this is our first, other than French Africa, this would be our second one in Africa. Is that right?
I think it's the third one, because we have the Africa one, which is for the English-speaking world, and then you have the Africa French. But of course, we are still working in there to create a bit more engagement in that sense. But yes, we do have. This is the third one, I think, in Africa. Yeah.
Yes, why would I try to get you not correct on this, Maddie? Why do I try? Anyways, this is good. Part Arabic and English. I love that. So
this is amazing. Yes.
When depending on which way you want to come in, this is awesome. I'm going to give you a like.
And I want to actually congratulate Mohammed for coming up with this initiative, and also Safia for putting a lot of work and a lot of conversation with Mohammed to set up this group. So heads up.
Yeah, the community rocks. Veeam community rocks. I think I need that as a t-shirt. Yeah.
we need some t-shirts with that.
Yeah, we do. I would wear that. All right. Also in special department news, I have two things that I personally brought up to bring to the show today. One is KB 4471. Just want to let everybody know that there is an important update available for all three of the Veeam backup for the public cloud products. So AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. This is built into the updater. There's that little notification bell on the Veeam backup for AWS, Azure, Google appliance. Just go ahead and do that update. That's why we have the updater in there. And it's really straightforward, just so you could avoid this potential backup data loss. So just want to bring this to everyone's attention. You should be doing updates anyways, but now it might be a good time to get on it. Second thing I want to bring up is about some really important news that came out yesterday. So this week, we're recording on Thursday. So when I say yesterday, it's Wednesday. Wait, no, it's Tuesday. We're recording on Wednesday. Yesterday was Tuesday. You will see this on Thursday, and I will say it's Friday. So this week, let's just say that, is the Microsoft Inspire. That's their partner, virtual stream, kind of enabling partners around the world. There was an announcement about a whole bunch of stuff, but two things really kind of walk into our swim lanes for Veeam. One is there's a new set of APIs powered by Microsoft Syntex that will be used for backup solutions like Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365 to do much faster backups, right? So we're really excited about that. And then the other thing is Microsoft itself is going to offer a native backup of Microsoft 365. And that will be limited to just a few services. Like, for example, Veeam already has more services than what that'll target. But I really think this is super important, validating in the market that there is a need for Microsoft 365 backup. And Microsoft's gone into this with partners with Veeam and other backup products. So super, super big piece of news. If you're not backing up Microsoft 365, we should talk to you about that. Yes, we do need to back that up. Everything from the shared responsibility model. Now there's a native Microsoft offering, and yes, ransomware is a concern in the Microsoft 365 space. I have been debriefed of scenarios. I saw one top level news about a ransomware actor in 365, especially SharePoint. So it's like, we've got a strong roadmap for the product. If you're not playing with that now, definitely check it out. All right. Last thing I want to talk about is, again, back to Sophia. We've got Who's New this week. And, it's hot. It's summertime. It is kind of light, but we are happy to welcome plus 47. Some interesting names here. Some of these are funny. Beppe, I like that. And you can always tell the French people, by the way. Do you notice that?
Opien. That's
Well,
a nice name.
they always capitalize the last name.
Yes, they
Why?
do that.
Can someone in a comment please let me know, why do French always all caps the last name, the surname?
Well,
I never
we can
understood.
tag Thierry and he can explain it to us.
Hey, Lionel, this one's for you. Maybe you can
Yes.
explain. I like all this. EC Rams, THB. I love the ones that come in with short names. It's like they found it. It's all good. Anyways, so those are the 47 coolest ones are Pepe double Z zero Nito deep spicy noodle. Spicy noodle. Love that. That's funny.
Cool.
And then the Alfred's pick for the week. This one's actually hilarious. Clowny Boots.
Oh,
You
Clowny
have
Boots. That's great because he's already active, you know? He's already like
really?
posting
Okay.
and things. Yeah, he posted something. We should have mentioned it. I didn't know that this was Alfred's pick because otherwise we would have mentioned it. But he wrote a post saying that he's a Veeam lover or something like that for so many years, which is so great. We should have mentioned it. I didn't know he was Alfred's pick.
Well, yeah. I didn't know either till this morning because Sophia curates the stuff. So anyways, congratulations, Clowny Boots. Oh, you know what? We've got something special next week.
Do we?
We do. Sysadmin Day.
Oh, yes. Next week it's the 28th already. Oh my God, this month
and
gone so fast.
We're going to do one of those live streams. And I think that's going to take the place of the recap that week we agreed on. Yeah. So
definitely, yes.
Not going to have 1:30 next week, but we will have the Sysadmin Day live stream. That'll actually go on a Friday. I think we're going to do 11 or 12 noon. I can't remember, New York time. And I hope it cools down for you there, Maddie, by then.
I do hope as well.
We'll put that in. We'll share that in the news as a special post as well. But
definitely, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of interesting conversations next week around like stories that people shared. I saw a few people still have time to share their stories about the situation when they were the hero and they saved the situation, or when they actually failed and learned out of it. That's also very useful for us. Come up and just write it down, and we're going to mention it in that live stream. And we're going to have 2 of our Veeam 100 members. Should we mention who? Because I think our marketing team is already going to post about that this week.
Well, I'm just glad you're not asking me because I'm not 100% sure who. I know I'm very certain on one. I'm not so certain on the other, but let me just say this: Texas and Netherlands. Is that right?
No, it's going to be Europe.
Well, Netherlands and another
Germany.
Germany. Okay, yes. See, that's why I'm glad you did. Well, just we'll leave it right there. Netherlands and Germany.
Should we just leave it there? Okay, then it's gonna be surprise from our marketing team. Okay, let's end it out this way.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be a Friday stream. That'll be a special one, and I'll host that. We'll have our 2 special guests, Maddie. Anyone else? Is Sophia going to be on? Okay, just me, you, and those 2. So that'll be fun. So looking forward to that.
Sure.
Awesome. Hey, Maddie, and then Sophia for the prep on Who's New. Thank you so much for curating the content here today. Really appreciate it. Community, rock on. Keep it up, and we will see you not next week on 1:30. Through the Sysadmin Day, but then back the week after 1:30, and I'm home for that one, so we should be on normal circumstances. So, all right, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.